Mute ourselves. Oh goodness,
Read
we're
our
in a
lips.
mess.
Read our lips.
He's got some music playing up there, but I don't know if y'all can hear it back here. I wonder if it could be. Let's see if I can hear.
If we opened up our mic up there.
I just unmuted up there. I don't know. Did I turn that off with a push of a button? I might have pushed the button and turned that off. I'm gonna go check it. Well, we're waiting on people to get into the Twitch channel. I'm gonna let Nugget hang out here, and we're gonna go check the other connection. That's what we're gonna go do. But yeah, it's been great out here. And the weather, aside from like 2 days ago, it just started raining. The weather, like the first 2 days of the week, it was nice outside. Hey, can you put your headphones on? See if you can you go ahead and put us, can you go put the screen into the how I sound. You should be able to hear me from both things.
I'm not hearing anything. I'm not hearing anything.
Okay. So it's good thing we have this moment in time to make sure that things are here. Oh no, I said put me in the thing.
Oh, I'm
in the stream, bro. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hey, Matt Harley's in the stream.
Yes, hey Matt Harley.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
You can hear me, okay.
From here, it looked like you were in there. I'm sorry. I'm torn all the different ways.
Matt Harley. Y'all, look at this. If you're in the stream right now, look at this fantastic stage that we have. This is a fantastic, right? Guys, the stage is everything right now. What's up, Tater? We are running live on our Twitch channel right now, and actually all of our channels right now. We're waiting on people to show up. But honestly, I would stand up here and talk to a room full of nobody. Can y'all see on this camera? It looks good, right?
Yeah. Like I would like you to be presenting something. Oh, hey, I just emailed you. I just sent you more documents just now.
St. Louis in here.
Because we have bags in here. We did not smoke in here, but there are bags in here.
Yeah, we got you guys made.
We have organized.
Yeah, it's just us. We're exuding it. It's a new perfume.
That's right. You're endorphin. What's it called? You're endorphin.
Yes. Yes.
I'm about to present.
Okay. I was gonna say I can go up there with you. It's upstairs, right? To the printers. I couldn't find the USBs, but here, feel free to plug into this. I'm not using it, so feel free.
Yeah, no, he was like, do you think they know where it is? Or they lost? And I was like, no, this is literally, I'm like, this is literally.
We're muted. We were muted for a second because there was people back here talking and stuff. That's why. So we're on Twitch. We're on Facebook today, and we're on YouTube. You guys can hear there's a lot of background music, right? Background noise is what I was going to say. We're just waiting for the room to fill up a little bit more, and then there's going to be some speakers, and oh man, it's going to be great. The education piece of this is well worth the watch. I'm going to say that for a fact. Did you say I'm tiny? Like in y'all, I am 5'4". I am not a tall person, but I present tall. Yay! I know. I'm so excited that more people are showing up. A lot of them are sponsors, but still, there's this education piece that we really want to speak to. Oh, that other view, yeah, because I was up on the stage, so I'm a tiny person, but I exude a lot of big energy. So that's the beauty of it. Woo! So if you are on the TikTok right now, on the TikToks, if you want to follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv Cannabis Closet 420 is our page, is our channel. And nice. Yeah, I know a lot of my friends are all like, I know he sleeps the whole time. He's like literally taking up. No, you totally. He's allowed to be touched by the group.
I realized I must have touched one of my eyes and wiped off all my makeup on the side. I was like, in the camera, I'm like, oh.
It's okay. It's a pretty. It's very simple.
We are piecing it together as we go. She's still got a soundboard and other things that can be hooked up to be all fancy.
I don't know how to use any of my
We did not
equipment.
get that far.
Have
She
we
got her
done
new
this?
computer, and that was enough. Like,
We should plug stuff up into yours. Mine you can't plug stuff up into. So.
yeah, that's what this card is. Like, we learned all sorts of stuff just trying
this is the newest Apple laptop, and it only has these two plugs and a place for my headphones. So I had to buy this thing, which is $100, so that I could plug USBs into it. Thank you, Apple.
Yeah, my dad bought me a Chrome.
A Chromebook? I hate that thing.
I like it because
No,
I'm
no,
not having
I
to
want-
pay for it. He was giving me a lot of anxiety because I was having.
I want to throw that thing against a
That
wall.
was an Apple. I didn't like it.
Hey,
But it's got like just the
Hi,
charger
nice to meet you.
cord.
Nice to meet you. Yeah. I've heard so many good
like,
things
we have
about
cords.
you.
I keep like these
Yeah.
headphones because I keep trying to like.
So
Like he packed up all my stuff and was like, goodbye.
If you use headphones,
Did you remember that?
This is the podcast.
I'll be
today,
like,
guys.
I'm full on gonna be like running and be like,
like talking to people who just come up and talk to us, which that's fine, right?
yeah.
He's going on up there. People are starting to kind of trickle in.
Oh, Elite, we're gonna have to sit.
Time for a dizab. If you can take one, we are in a public space, so we cannot. But
Yes,
I am taking one with you in
Take one
spirit.
for us.
What's up, Reefer Queen?
Hi, you're on live doing my makeup.
Yeah,
with you. I
well,
feel like
why
I'm
not?
doing a
People do makeup on
tutorial.
live all the time. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Because I don't know what, like makeup, like lighting show makeup is so different than sitting, and I already don't wear
Good
makeup.
morning,
so
all. Thanks.
trying to put more on so I don't look. Don't go over there near the windows. It's bad light.
It's bad light there at the windows. She's like, don't go over there. I love this. It's starting to fill up a little bit. I want to flip this camera and show y'all, but they said hi to you. I can show you on TikTok. I'm not going to show you anywhere else. If he thinks he's going to sit in a special seat that I put aside for a special somebody else. So more people are starting to come in. You better.
I'm Megan.
Maria Lopez.
mentor. Oh, yes, wonderful. So nice to
This
meet you.
woman's name is Farah
Oh, I
also.
can't wait. We're going to get more time to talk and everything.
Her name is
but
Farah,
yes,
and my
I'm
name is
excited.
Farah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. He's passed out, y'all. Y'all can't see him on the pod, but Nugget is passed out behind me. I'm literally sitting on the edge of my seat. So,
I just met one of my mentees.
oh, she's one of your. Oh, nice. You will not forget her. So I got a text saying that somebody's running a little bit late today.
Oh, but that was so. Which one? Oh,
Which one? She said it's like a rotating door.
door. It invites.
It invites.
You know, energy
Beautiful
invites
energy.
have been, put out there. I feel like this is darker on this side.
This
is Megan's Makeup Corner, brought to you
Brought to you by a girl that does not know how to do
by
makeup.
the Cannabis
I'm like,
Closet Podcast. Megan's
I
Makeup
have my
Corner
eyes. I don't know what to do with my eyes.
by the Cannabis Closet Podcast. I wish we could like have something to put it.
Girl, we got boxes.
I know, but like, will they fit? I hate that we have like a wall behind us. We'll stay on here for a little bit. But once they start doing the teaching and stuff, we'll probably jump off of here and be just on Twitter or on the pot. How high do I want to be? Or oh no, that wasn't the question.
Very tentative.
Very tentative. So you don't bump it.
Oh, do you want to put this in?
Oh, put that in the bag. I just have weed sitting out on the table.
She's like, that's us.
She said, why does it smell like that in here? You know why it smells like that? Because I'm in the
I'm like,
room.
we didn't smoke yet. That's just our perfume.
It's just how we roll.
It's our pheromones. It is already.
Hello, Nugget.
We should have brought one of those.
It smells like a lot of
I'm my bad.
I got
It's loud.
the OGM.
This is going to be for the. We did not smoke, I swear to God. These are going to be for. These are for the.
table.
Yeah, they're
It's right here.
What do you call them?
Thank you.
And then so are these, huh?
Yep, these are all for out there. I you know what? Ours was in a separate link. I'm sorry.
I missed something.
It was in a separate email. It's the same email, but link is above.
Ozium. Brought to you by. No, I'm just kidding. We don't fucking.
No, until we sponsor, we ain't shouting out.
No.
She
I know.
She did like our face.
I
I
know.
don't say nothing until you wear that check out. Wear that check.
Exactly.
Our candle, the little,
I know our little candle. That thing smells so good. I got this thing, and it's called Rasta Love, and it's
should've known we were
the
always this
most
loud.
beautiful. I can't help that I go everywhere. I'm loud. I'm everywhere I go. It's not my fault. Well, it's a little bit my
yes,
fault.
ma'am. That's it. That's the one.
Woo! Chill. She's still not in the shot. She's not in either one of the shots, so y'all aren't missing
Oh, did
nothing.
we find out which Lovely did not want to be on?
Oh, yes. She's not in the room yet.
Okay.
She's wearing a hat, though, for sort 10.
That makes it easy.
So what we've done is there's a few people I don't know in here, but we've just basically invited all of our friends so that we can sit in a room and talk about cannabis together. And I can't love it more. I can't love it more. You guys. It's amazing. When Megan's done with her face, I think we're going to try to scooch this whole operation to the left.
I can stop doing what I'm doing.
You do what you do. We're not in a hurry. Are y'all in a hurry? We're just going to change the view a little bit. So let us know also on. She's says a nice short day.
Yeah, it's gonna be full of information, but not
Yeah.
as long as you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry that I came in here loud like that. It's my
Oh,
bad.
girl, don't worry about it. It's just sometimes everybody's like, "Where's the weed?" And I'm like, "I promise, we not handing out no weed here."
Promise?
I promise.
We are not handing it out.
No
It is
surprises here.
not a free
Like you
event.
could just blame us. Just point at the girls in the back of the room.
Oh. Okay. I'm gonna mute us over here. If you guys want to see this, is she gonna start speaking soon?
I thought I saw somebody else.
Hey, does it? Where'd she go? Oh, the hat. All
right, does the Canna Closet podcast want to?
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready for you.
Oh, that lady went to go pay her parking.
So this is
Okay,
April
good.
Hatch
Worried she
speaking.
left.
We are going to do an interview with her as well. We're doing great. We're going to do an interview with her as well later. She's
Nah,
a
we need
nurse.
you
She's
to
going to
valet.
tell you guys all about who she is. And then I think I see a Brahma up there with her too. So
That usually means you have to.
Okay.
There has to be a reason you're in that.
can you just let
I mean,
them
I'm
know
parked in
who that's
reserved parking
here?
right now, and I know I'm not supposed to be in there.
Yeah, we just follow everybody else.
Let me tell you, I have so many parking tickets from here.
You have parking tickets from here?
This
I come and hang out
location.
with Marnay
Oh my
and I
gosh, we're gonna.
get tickets. But
Yeah.
they're not real pushy about them, actually. It's like a parking enforcement person, and they may happen to catch you. But I
We're
was
in a
talking to
private
them.
parking lot. I can't even take
Oh, well, see, if
the
you park in the actual lot, see, I just park on the street and just
Yeah.
off the meters.
Yeah, I know.
That's the way to do it.
I am. Every time I go to, a capital, I get parking tickets because they only let you park there for 2 hours and you're always in there longer. But I try to stay on top of that.
When you're speaking, it just needs you to stay in the podium space.
Here's our
So
yeah,
between the
podium
and
the screen.
The screen?
Stage, yes.
And the ladies can have the stage.
I would prefer you be on the stage, but especially if you're gonna stand down here, I guess you just.
Okay, so that means we gotta go. Well, we need you on stage too.
I'm calling everybody out, don't worry.
Yeah, I'm gonna come up, but I'm just saying, Okay. I'm just turning.
All right, Stacy's back. I think we got everybody we had to start. But you got all quiet when you walked like that.
Start off with them, yeah, and then
Right.
we'll go
And then I can
into.
come back to that.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I think
yeah.
that's perfect.
I'm gonna take a minute
That
to
works.
pull everybody.
Oh, I don't know.
Mr. Microphone? I am Mr. Microphone.
Okay, all right. We need a mic.
I gotta pick up dinner,
Okay.
but, Cham's bringing.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for getting up early on a Saturday morning. We lost a few people. So Jason and I had a conversation a while back about what we could do to create diversity in the cannabis industry. And we really want to create opportunities and create connections for people. So we had an event last week in Kansas City, great turnout, and people I think really found a lot of value in it, just from meeting the other people who attended. And so, I'm April. I guess I should introduce myself. I'm actually a nurse, been a nurse for 16 years. And, I won't go into my whole story, but, cannabis was always seen as recreational for me until my son suffered a TBI, and prescription after prescription, therapist after therapist, speech therapy, physical therapy. Finally, someone said, hey, that you might want to try medical marijuana. Of course, at the time it was illegal. I was extremely frightened to do something like that with a nursing license, but I did it. And within a short time, he was a much healthier person and continues to be today. So it just kind of snowballed from there. I had done so much research when I was looking into what I was going to give him. People knew that I was a nurse who knew about cannabis, so lots of people started coming to me. And when the law passed here in Missouri, I said, hey, I can actually announce this in public and make it official, and I won't get in trouble. So we do a lot of one-on-one patient consultations. We do a lot of dispensary training, really from the perspective of nurses. Matt is my partner over here. We taking care of some really sick people. Yeah. And so we just try to provide, that different, that compassionate perspective, and we want to teach people how to connect with those people who have often been failed by the healthcare industry. We do not want to fail them in the cannabis industry. So I think that's my little spiel. There's more people who we want to get up and introduce. This is Jason, came in from Colorado for this. Thank you.
My pleasure. Nice to meet you all. Again, I see a lot of faces I recognize, some new ones I'll be seeing again, I'm sure. Grateful that April was listening to a podcast we were having about opportunity and inclusion in the cannabis industry, different avenues and different opinions on how to solve, how to highlight, who's doing what. And we kind of tabled that conversation with some friends we made in Missouri last year as I was invited out to talk about diversity and inclusion in the cannabis industry at a MoCan trade event last year.
So not a MoCan trade event.
Oh, sorry.
Midwest Canada.
Thank you. At Midwest Canada Expo event, which we have in-house here today. And so when I'm done talking, I'll have everybody take 2 minutes to stand up and introduce themselves and kind of let the attendees know what they're doing in the local market. I started as a patient 2008. Quickly moved into, somebody grab this door here. No? Okay. So quickly moved from the patient, hang on, Matt. Quickly moved from the patient to being asked to work in a dispensary for the first time in 2009. And since then, I've done just about everything I've wanted to do in the cannabis industry, from bud tending to genetic sourcing to one-on-one patient orientation and education, all the way through license holding, application writing, and I was part of a winning team in Pennsylvania on an application, and I was first to market in the greater Philadelphia area. Did a lot of advocacy work in PA, learned what it meant to lobby, spend time, hitting my local representatives on Capitol Hill. So I've learned a lot over the last 10 or 11 years, and I'm really grateful to have the opportunity now to take the next steps in making sure that we build the best cannabis industry we can, and that's inclusive. So that's kind of the motivation behind April and I bringing this group together and making this offering. And the goal for me is to be able to do this in every inner city and make a direct connection between people of color and the cannabis pipeline legally. And to show that it's not just opportunities in a cannabis license holder, but there are, especially when I look around this room, there are tons of successful ancillary cannabis entrepreneurs in this room that aren't dependent on a state license or aren't dependent on an opportunity given to them by the state, but created their own opportunities in the industry. So I wanted to share that with my community. And I really appreciate those who coming out, both on the vendor side and the support side and the attendee side. So I'm gonna start pulling some names in the audience because I want people to kind of stand up and give me a 2 minutes or less, who you are, what you do in the market. And I'm going to start with Corinne right here on you.
I'm Corinne Chester, and my company is Imaginary Enterprises, and we have two divisions. We have Midwest Canna Expos. We produce large-scale educational trade shows and events for the cannabis industry. And then Midwest Canna Demos, which we're currently here hiring for. So we do brand representation events for manufacturers. We go into dispensaries and educate patients about their products and talk about brands. So we're hiring. I'm really happy to be here and be part of the event. So thanks for having us.
Well, we expected from, no, turn around. Yes. Oh, you're here. Come on, stand up. Everybody's. Okay, so tell us who you are, what you do, how you got here.
Christy Nason. I work with Corinne at Imaginary Enterprises. I handle payroll, so.
Yeah.
So again, an important key note is your skills payroll, right? Like, so now you're functioning in a whole new avenue because you have that payroll skill set. Now you can go into cannabis specific areas and build on that there's already a shortfall of, right? There's already not enough people having that skill set in that market. So that's what I want to translate to anybody who's attending is you don't have to learn a new skill set. You don't have to learn new training. A lot of what we can do is translate what you're good at into a potential opportunity.
1000%.
Yeah.
Eric?
Hey, everybody. Hello. My name's Eric Swain with Missouri Cannabis Industry Association. Personally, senior manager by trade, maybe a junior executive manager someday. That's a really tight pyramid at the top. But in terms of the Missouri Cannabis Industry Association, one of two industry associations here in Missouri, we focus a lot on patients and caregivers and some of the, I would say, neglected areas of the industry. And, we're big into diversity. Presently, there are opportunities on our board, particularly for folks of color. We'd love to see that. We have about 50% women on our board, or getting close to 50% women on our board at this point, but we're all white. So, might as well just say it out loud and be up front. We like that diversity, right? We really do. Let's bring it in. We need that help. We need that perspective, right? Because there are some things we're going to miss just because we miss it, because we don't know, right? So we need
She's
that.
thinking, like I got something else I want.
But additionally, we're all volunteer association. Nobody gets paid. Sometimes there's small stipends for this or that. So all membership dues, all that sort of thing goes into producing educational events. Sponsoring events like this is big for us. We like to be here. We're going to buy lunch today. This is finally, we're also putting together, working with some folks to put together adult use in Missouri. I think there's some shortfalls to the way the current medical program's been put together, and we'd like to correct some of those and include some important programs for, economically disadvantaged, disenfranchised groups. I'm a disabled veteran myself, medical patient, caregiver, the whole deal. So at any rate, finally, I guess, got to mention our certified caregiver program, sort of professional certification teaches people how to get out there and care for patients. The kindness, April Hatch, and Matt here both participated to help us putting together that information for folks. Would really love to see you come across our desk and email and get familiar with it.
Thank you. And I'll amplify that caregiver program, having advocated across the country and been in a lot of different medical states. And Missouri definitely has the strongest caregiver to patient program in the country, numerically, without doubt. And when you start to see the connection provided by an organization like Eric's and Abrahama does work in the field, and I know mine, connecting growers and caregivers with patients and their needs is really that next nexus of completion as well. So I just want to give a lot of kudos to Eric for that focus on the patient and caregiver side of it as an industry leader. I appreciate that. And he's feeding us lunch today, so thank you again for that. I'm going to hit Marnay next. You're going to come up here, but I just want everybody to introduce themselves.
Hello, good morning. I'm Marnay. I'm the owner and founder of Bluebird Academy, as well as the owner of Queen of Terpenes brand and Green Girls. Overall focus is the education of industrial hemp and cannabis science. So really showing the community that, like they said, anything that you're already daily doing, you can integrate cannabis in front of it, literally. I tell people all the time, what do you do? Put cannabis in front of it, you have $1 million structure, I'm your consultant. So definitely book a scheduler appointment with me at any time. I help people integrate from ancillary to actual facility owners, if that is something that you're interested in doing. I've helped win over 7 applications throughout the Midwest, including Illinois, Missouri, and Oklahoma. I am now a dispensary owner myself, so I'm very happy to be opening up doors next month. Other than that, I'm pretty much all around here to help the community any way that I can. I host some really cool grow classes with elite home growers. Definitely appreciate the partnership. We've been doing this for about 2 years. So we sell out every class. I'm headed to Kansas City tomorrow. So this is actually my first, by state, my first Twin City, collaboration. So I'm very excited to see what tomorrow looks like. Appreciate the community supporting me as I continue to expand as well. And I hope that I can do that for anyone who's interested.
Brandon.
Yes, I love it.
Sorry, I got it. What's up, everybody? My name is Brendan England. I am the founder of the St. Louis Cannabis Club. It is a cannabis resource network for the Midwest area, connecting the existing and long-standing cannabis culture with the upcoming cannabis industry. One of the biggest things is that the cannabis culture is long-standing. We have code, ethics, inside jokes, and glossaries of terms that this industry really firsthand doesn't know that much about. And so we see an opportunity to really connect the existing community with these brands in a way that's really authentic. And we can also educate the existing culture along the way. So the first place that we do that is we do that at the Coleman Private Lounge. It's the first private cannabis lounge in Missouri. It's right down in South Central Street. Let's meet is our slogan, because we really are a place where the cannabis community comes together. The cola is the name of the flowering side of the female cannabis plant. So it is literally and figuratively.
I'm on stage right now. What's happening?
And so we use that in our ethos.
There's a buzzer. There should be a security lady.
The other part is I'm also the state director for minorities for medical marijuana.
Where are you parked? You'll see a bunch of cars on the street side between the 2 big buildings. And we're on the corner. It's what is it, the Chocolate Pig, I think, is out front.
For people of color to be able to connect with the community and to educate these people in the industry that 4% of our people of color being in an industry where over 300% of us are still in jail for the same type of, or for the same plant, doesn't add up. You know, it's like.
Preach.
Right, so we have to flip those numbers completely on the other side. You know? And so in order for us to do that, these industry folks, just like, what's your name again? Eric. We need that type of candid transparency. We need advocates in the industry. And so between InfraMed and the St. Louis Cannabis Club, I'm using those as my two pillars to really drive that mission forward, specifically for minorities in the industry. So I think we're, the other thing I can plug the after party, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool, so the after party is actually going to be at the Cola Lounge, tonight at 7 to 11-ish, so show up.
Thank you, brother. Hi, Abrama.
So I am Abrama Keys, and I am the Executive Director of Greater St. Louis Normal, which is the national organization. Which awesome Corinne actually was that for me as well, so she has how long. And I have a business called We Can, and we work on building genuine connections between the cannabis community, between patients and caregivers, patients and businesses, between patients and each other. So I was looking at events like virtual events, virtual vision boards parties, educational events with vendors on site. And I also do marketing for different businesses. I probably work with a whole bunch of different groups in here on different events. And I am the marketing and events coordinator for Presto Doctor in Missouri as well. So definitely open to talking to people about, you know, how they can connect with each other or connect with different avenues in the community.
And the first Black woman to lead the chapter of St. Louis, or to lead Normal anywhere in the country. Dawn.
Hi, I'm Dawn Abernathy. Everybody usually calls me Dawn, Cannabis Advocate. I'm the clinical director for Laverne Cannabis Health Clinic. So I help you with the full process of the pre-qualification call, seeing the doc, doing the application.
I gotta say hi.
Assisting you navigating and answering those questions on how to go with moving out healthcare. Work in the Missouri and Illinois market. So I'm navigating both sides of the state. It's a two-point type of operation for most folks because we're right there on the edge of the city. Anybody that grew up in St. Louis knows we're just a stone's throw away from the river. So being able to prepare that for patients and caregivers, not understanding the rules and the laws differences is an opportunity to share more. Move over here. It's a nicer program over here. Illinois is cute, but Missouri is, you know, we're an agricultural state. So right off the right academy, I provide consultations and conversations, kind of like what we're doing today. You're just supposed to have an opportunity to be empowered and work with you and walking into the healthcare and going in a plant-based medicine. You know, how to teach others about kind of what agriculture is doing. Those few little counterparts of mine that are advocates to be able to just really translate for patients in the clinical setting or non-clinical setting. So those are the things I do, and all things that are like back up to more days of awesomeness. I just kind of partner with all these awesome businesses that are sitting here that we do so much work with. So, yep, if it's a jack of all trades, we ask me.
Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris Guthrie. I'm with Stardust Dispensary. We have two dispensaries, one in U City and one in Festus. Pretty much here today just to meet new people. I want to talk to people that are interested in becoming bartenders, helping bring them into the industry and make sure that our staff is as diverse as our communities that we're in. And so I'm just here to meet people and hopefully be talking to most of you. Awesome.
This is one of the main reasons that we have a medical initiative that's in place right now in Missouri.
Yeah.
All the speakers tonight.
Do all that.
All the he is an advocate.
It's true,
Chris. First. And now got started.
He and Corinne have definitely been the OGs in the advocate side. I think 06, 2016, that deserves some praise. Zach.
I'm Zachary Post, president of Elite Home Growth Academy. We're a nonprofit organization. We specialize in a few different things. Primarily, we teach patients how to grow cannabis through our classes. But we also teach investing in cannabis stock. I'm a former stockbroker, so I could a few different sides of access to this industry. And I see ownership can be obtained through stock investments too. So we teach that also. Servicing side, we actually, if we want to patients take our class and want to actually start growing, we'll come to their home, we'll assess it, we'll give them like what they need to actually get to grow more. We'll order that stuff, we'll get set up for them, and we consult them, give them FaceTime or pictures. We do that if they're running through any ebbs and flows of their growth, and just kind of help them through those, sub valleys and things that they actually get them to a successful harvest. So we just don't focus on growing cannabis, we focus on quality of cannabis. It is a thing. So other than that, that's what we do here. And that's what the Lord is trying to expand as much as we can actually, handle it.
And you throw the best parties for the community.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to do that for everybody now.
Julia.
Hello, my name's Julia. I am a registered nurse and a patient
Sneak
advocate
out.
here
Call him
at
the phone next.
Okay.
University
And then
using
2 ladies in the back
advocacy
that say,
for everyone those most affected by the war on drugs. I'm passionate about it and I'm excited to be here and hopefully help connect with some people as well.
V9 Grows. Levon.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? My name is Ron. I actually am the owner of V9 Grows Sports Movie LLC. I run the live stream Cannabis Grow series on Facebook. I've been doing it for 2 years now. And I basically teach people how to grow cannabis on a budget, ready to come to their own home. It's a live stream, so you can ask me questions live. I answer your questions live. I show you grow techniques. I show you the lights that I use, the strains that I run, the soil that I use, the nutrients that I use, trimming machines that I use, rosin presses that I use. I do reviews on products as well. I got 5 sponsorships. I was also in the June edition of High Times magazine on page 77. I feel modest about that, but I should be kind of moving it. But I was also on the front cover of the March edition of Reefer Madness as well. Give you guys as much information as possible on how to get involved on the side that's not talked about so much, the home road side that is that talked about a lot, and also branch out and create an ancillary business within that also, just by doing that in the company of your home, without having to depend on, not against dispensaries, but not to have to depend on dispensaries the whole time. That's what I also teach. I also do consulting, just as Zach does as well, home consulting, video consulting as well, from genetics to lights. I'll partner with a light company out in North Carolina that's Black owned and veteran owned, as a matter of fact. I'm also partnered with a couple of other companies as well. So definitely check me out, V9GrowSportsMe.com or V9GrowSportsMe on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Every Tuesday.
All right, I'm gonna draw your attention to the 2 ladies in the back. These 2 ladies are amazing. They have been on every call every week and have been so helpful. So definitely introduce yourself and please check in with them, get an interview. They're streaming live, so gotta sit down and talk with these ladies. But I'm gonna let them introduce themselves.
Say that they were the inspiration for this, is at the end of the day.
That is exactly what they were.
They are the reason that we are out doing this on the road.
Thank you. Thank Hi, guys. First, before we introduce ourselves, I do want to let everybody know that there are 2 cameras rolling for our podcast right now. One in the front and one back here. So if you don't walk behind us or in front of that camera in there, you're going to be fine to stay off camera. We are the Cannabis Closet Podcast. My name is Canna Queen. This is MJ.
We run every Monday, usually at 4:20 Mountain Standard Time. That's 5:20 for y'all. And we talk about the things that people put in the closet. So the cannabis industry has problems just like every other industry. And we started recognizing those problems, and we want to make changes because we want to have a better industry for us, for our community, for the plant that we love. And so we decided that we were going to come together with our experience and our knowledge and the people that we know and that we love and we know have a passion for this plant as well, and to talk about the real problems in this industry, not sugar-coated at all. Like, we come at it hard. We come straight forward at it. We don't beat around the bush. And then we want to talk about solutions, because there are solutions to all of the problems that we face in the cannabis industry. We just have to work together to find those solutions and to implement those solutions. So that's what we do at the Cannabis Closet. If you guys want to follow us, we're on twitch.tv/cannabiscloset420. Today we're running live on all of our platforms, YouTube and Facebook as well. And then we also post after the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. And I'm gonna let Megan, I'm gonna let Megan talk a little bit too, because I'm always the one that's
When we're not podcasting, I'll actually talk about her too, in a sense that when she's not podcasting, she is a consultant. She is here to also come into your businesses, help the industry. When pinpoint, we are from every aspect of the Colorado industry, from the grow to working the facilities to I work a medical clinic. So I stepped away from the dispensary model and I started helping patients get their medical cards. I don't touch the plant. I run an office, but I help patients with that Colorado process just because I know how to work a computer and I can click through those sites quicker than patients can. And so we like to, again, help patients as much as we can, educate. She loves to come in and educate, like from the ground up, from your dispensary staff to general knowledge. You have a question about what you're medicating with, how to medicate. This girl's got a lot of knowledge, and I come from a marketing and health coaching background too, so I love to just spread the ideas that we don't have to, there's so many different aspects of this industry. It's not, while the plant is our love, like we know there is so much, and all these little branches where we can really grow, like literally, like pun intended. And so we're excited to be here. We are going to be broadcasting all day long, so please stop by, chat with us. We'd love to sit down and talk to you about the industry, you, and how we can help you grow.
And we'll be interviewing all of the vendors as well. So be on the lookout. We're coming for you.
I got names written down. So
your names. There you go. Thanks for having us, you guys.
Thank you so much.
Real quick, I just wanted to give a shout out to the wonderful people who are feeding us today. Locally owned, Jan Leffy and Harris one that provided, so thank you all. So what we'll probably do is break to go get plates made and then come back in and probably going to give us great history on the plant.
All right, so lunch is here. All right, it's out there. Be COVID cautious, use that hand sanitizer, leave some space in between people. But yeah, get your plates and come back in. We're good. I know, but we gotta eat it all, right?
So is it cool to create an event for that party? Like create an event? That's like what
You said, okay, you said like it was a big
there. So
Yeah,
what's up, guys? I want to take this moment for our sponsor break real quick. So I just wanted to give a shout out to all of our sponsors. We're going to start with High Council. So if you guys are interested in checking out the High Council hold on, I don't even know my own website. This isn't the one I want. I'm looking at the wrong thing. So check out highcouncil420.com. No, that's not right either. What am I talking about? Yes, it is right. I'm trying to edit and talk at the same time. So anyways, check out highcouncil420.com. And there's a lot of creator merchandise on there, including the backpack that I've been carrying around all week with the loudest loud in there. It's so loud in there. Oh my gosh. Where is my booth? It's way over there.
Yeah, we have to spray some sprays.
Let me grab it can you grab it? Because we're doing a sponsor break, and this is like the most atrocious sponsor break you've ever seen in your whole life. So anyways, but check out highcouncil420.com for some great creator merchandise. I'm just one of the many creators on highcouncil420.com. There's lots of us on there, and all of us have our own amazing characteristics about us. And so find someone on there that you absolutely love and support us. We're going to be putting out some production, education, and entertainment production for you guys to see on our channels. So stay tuned for that. We have lots of big things coming up in the future. Additionally, check out my smoke gear /ref/Canna-Queen DGO if you need a new pipe, if you need a silicone pipe or a new grinder. Definitely check it out. We also have new apparel up there. My smoke gear apparel is pretty dope. So I can't wait to get some ordered and get some in. But definitely check it out. mysmokegear.com /ref/Canna-Queen DGO. Also, we're going to be doing some stuff tonight with the Levo, shop.levo.com. For 10% off, use our discount code CannabisCloset420. We are going to be filming tonight with the Levo live at our after party, so definitely check that out. We're going to be doing some live stuff there. Set your alerts on twitch.tv/CannabisCloset420. We are not going to be running live on all of our platforms this evening. We will only be running live on our twitch.tv/CannabisCloset420 platform, so definitely check it out. The Levo is amazing. You can, if you're not a cannabis consumer, that's okay. It's not a big deal. You can actually, if you're a gardener and you like to grow your own herbs, you can dry your herbs in the Levo, and then you can infuse those herbs into your butter, your honey, your oil, whatever. So you can use it for more than just cannabis. Cannabis is also, you can also decarb the cannabis in there. So it's a one-stop shop. With other machines, I've seen that you have to decarb outside of the machine. It grinds up the flour, things like that. This does not happen with the Levo. The Levo is you put it in there. I don't even have to strain it. I just push a button and it pours out. It's amazing. It's one of the most amazing machines I've ever used. It's like the Keurig of butter infusion or oil infusion. So it's pretty amazing. Check out the Midwest Canna Golf Tournament at gmail.com. It got postponed to 7/10, so that's on the Saturday, 7/10. First annual Midwest Canna Golf Tournament. It got postponed due to weather, but sign up if you can. They're still looking for sponsorship and teams. Definitely check out the website or the email for more information. Go ahead and send an email over and get more information on that. You can absolutely catch us on all of our streaming avenues. So right now we're streaming live on twitch.tv/CannabisCloset420, which is our main channel. Definitely go over there and follow us to get most of our content. We're going to be putting that out live on twitch.tv. But after the show, when I'm working at full capacity and I don't have a million things on my plate, I definitely upload all of our shows onto our other platforms.
Join us live.
So you can definitely check us out on Apple Podcasts. We just got picked up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. We're on Facebook. Of course, we're on Twitch, TikTok, and Instagram. We've been building up our platforms there too. So definitely check us out on all of our platforms. And if you're interested in when we're going to be going live and things like that, we're going to post those things into our Discord. So I need to post that that link in there. Believe
Did I
the
not
link.
put it in? Oh, I did it in the
Not the
comments
Discord
last
link.
time. Yeah, it's
Yeah, the
I
Discord
did it in
link
the
needs to go in
comments
there,
last
but it is the Cannabis Closet Discord. And if you'd like that link, you just hit us up and we'll make sure that you get it. We'll get you an invite link. This event is sponsored by Fleur Verde Academy. Fleur Verde Academy has all kinds of classes for home growers or people looking to get into business. You can take a class and learn something about cannabis. They also have a clinic attached. It's a virtual clinic, and they work in Missouri, Illinois, and now in Oklahoma as well. So definitely check out Fleur Verde Academy at gmail.com or schedule your clinic appointment. You can dial 314-465-8516. Did I just say you can dial? Like, what year is this? We're, of course, sponsored by my company, CQ LLC. We're a cannabis consulting company. We like to come in and be hands-on, fix the problems you have, or make it so that you don't have those problems at all when we start from the bottom up. So definitely give us a call, 970-426-5985. We'll be happy to help you out. We can do virtual work, but we do like being hands-on, so we'd love to show up in your town and help you out with whatever you need.
We like to connect with communities.
We do. We love it so much. V9 Grows sponsors this podcast. Without V9 Grows, we wouldn't be able to run live on our StreamYard today. So thank you, V9 Grows. Follow V9 Grows on Facebook. V9Grows420.com is the website. You can learn so much from him. He does home grow classes right there on his channel. I believe that's the majority of our sponsors today. We are sponsored by King Palm as well. If you want to get a discount on your King Palms, you can use KPC Queen to get a discount today when you go to the King Palm website. So definitely check that out as well. With that, we're going to go ahead and take our own pause and get us a plate of food. And then we're going to be right back for the talk. So stay tuned. Thanks for being with us, everybody. And thanks for being patient with us.
The center, if you guys.
We want to come this way. Now you come over this way. Perfect.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Oh yeah, aesthetics.
Oh,
Yay!
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yay!
Thank you.
Smell of those, please. Yes, perfect.
You being
You look so cute. You like it? Yes, it's so cute. Yes.
Yeah, on my page, so people
But we
can
take pictures
know.
with y'all. Yes, and y'all know y'all stuff. Yes, and let y'all know that y'all can. Yes. I definitely can't wait to eat.
I know, right? Let me get it.
No, it's fine. I ain't gonna be able to. Make sure it's some crab right on left. Don't leave me hanging. The lobster wrap.
Y'all, this food, I'm just gonna say right now.
I'm running now.
It smells so good. First of all, Lefties is black owned. So let's just start there. But it's Asian cuisine, looks like, right? Is that what I'm eating?
Yeah, it's like an Asian.
There's 2 types of ragoon. You're not gonna walk around and beg people for food. Go get in your basket. Now. Hey, get in there. In the basket. Hey, get in the basket. Nugget. Aki aki. Gracias. Okay. My dog speaks a little bit of Spanish. Okay. So there's crab rangoon and lobster rangoon. What? Shut up. Mm-hmm. It's so good. Oh my gosh. There's comments. Let me see what y'all are saying to me. You're going to get one someday. What are you going to get? What are you going to get? What am I reacting to? Do I need to put soy sauce? You just want to see how I feel about the rice. What did you call it? Dark skin rice, she called it. She said it's what makes it dark skin rice? Oh, they caramelize it. Okay. Okay. Please don't. We're live. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Okay. This is the fried rice. I put some soy sauce on it because that's what we do. It's fucking delicious. It's fucking delicious. Everything on this plate is delicious. I can't eat this on camera because y'all don't want to see me eat chicken on camera. It's inappropriate. It's inappropriate. This food is so good. Y'all don't understand. Sorry you're watching me eat. Not sorry. A little bit, but not really. I'm like tasting everything. So good. This rice is, I should have gotten more. This rice is everything for me. Yeah, I like this. So, if you're in St. Louis and you want to eat some amazing cuisine and you like Asian cuisine, they are. I highly recommend Lefties. This lobster rangoon is so good. Y'all, I can't. Who did this? So good. Y'all know how much I love food. This shit is delicious. You know the food's good when it makes you dance. I'm just sitting up here podcasting by myself. You want to come podcast with me? I'm over here podcasting by myself. This is our sponsor, V9 Grows.
What's up, you guys? What up? What up? What up?
What's up, you guys?
It's your motherfucking boy, V9 Grows 420.
Boy. He don't announce himself any other way, y'all. We was at the Cola last night, and this motherfucker goes live. There's a room full of people, and he's like, "What's up? It's your boy." It's your motherfucking boy.
I did.
You did. No shame. I loved it.
I can't be anything but my genuine
I
self all
want
the
you to
time.
be always your genuine self.
I just don't know anyhow. I don't know any way else to be.
Have you tasted this plate of food?
Yes, I have.
Oh my
I've actually had that food before, and it's
Ugh.
really freaking good, yo. I don't know. It's difficult to find a kosher Chinese spot like that where it's that kosher and this good. It's really, really difficult. Well, it's St. Louis culture, because St. Louis culture is known for our Chinese food and our Italian food. When you're from here, like, you know that because there's a Chinese spot everywhere you go.
Let me tell you what you're not known for. Pizza.
Wait a minute.
No, sir.
Wait a minute. What's wrong with Emos?
We ate. Oh well.
Did y'all eat Emos or Alicia's?
Look, Emos. First of all, Emos is not real pizza.
It's
Only
thin
in
crust.
St. Louis
It's thin crust.
is it real pizza.
It's thin crust pizza, you guys. It's all it is.
It's barely a thin crust pizza. It's barely a pizza. It's barely.
So okay, some people do call it
good,
crackers
though.
and cheese. Some people call it cracker and cheese.
It's good though.
I'm sorry,
I'm
man.
not gonna say it's not
some
good.
Some people call
but
it
then
crackers and
also,
cheese.
we went to this very, I'm sorry to say it, Mission Mexican Foods. Have y'all eaten there? Have you eaten at Mission? Don't eat at Mission. White people cook their Mexican food. I don't mean to sound like that, but it's, I mean, it was mediocre at best. And your mushroom quesadilla needs work because we couldn't even eat it. It was gross.
I will say the food from Rooted Buds was fire last night, yo.
Oh my god.
I had a jackfruit taquito. Now I'm vegan.
I've never eaten jackfruit before.
Fire,
and
yo.
I was like scared about it. I posted on TikTok, and I'm pretty sure I did. And I was scared about it, but it was so good.
It was fire, yo.
It would like melt in your mouth good.
And it had vegan cheese too. And it was it had the
Those
little
ladies
spicy
know what
kick.
they're doing. I think I owe them some money, by the way, but they're gonna be there tonight. Oh, you did? Okay.
It's like I walked out without paying you girls.
I paid them up front. It's like because it was too good not to. It was way too good not to.
Well, she got our first plate, and then I went and I got the churros, and I was like,
churros was fire too. Everything was good.
yeah.
Like everything was good.
Yeah.
But I'm about to get back to my plate because I'm hungry. So I'm gonna go there and eat. My friend just got here too. My other homeboy's gonna be here too. So we got people.
What other homeboy?
My homeboy Keith Robinson. He's a firefighter EMT.
Oh,
my homeboy. Pudge.
Oh, is he now?
Firefighter EMT, about 6'2".
I would love.
Yes, he is. Yes, as a matter of fact,
MJ and I would
no
love to
kids,
meet him.
No ex-wives.
Yo,
built like
he comes
bigger
with
than I
no
am.
baggages.
So he's much bigger, muscular than I am.
Okay, well, we'll be the judge of that. You just bring him to our table.
I'll let y'all. I'll let y'all see him. Well, I know for sure he likes his Asian persuasion, so he may be looking at you.
Okay, calm down.
That's me. Go right ahead. I ain't gonna stop you. What am I gonna do? I'm not gonna stop you.
Don't stop
Send your friend. That's all I say. Don't send your friend to talk to me.
You say what?
Ever.
Don't send your friend.
Don't send your friend to talk to me. Yeah, don't send your friend to talk to me. Woo woo. Yeah, I just don't.
You fail. Fail on your own.
That's right. Fail on your own. Y'all want to eat this chicken so bad, but there's 0% chance you're going to watch me eat it. Can't do it. Just understand it's going to be, I'm not going to disrespect the chicken wing. Well, I might disrespect the chicken wing, but not the cook. Okay. It looks like, make sure she stands a little bit over into the thing.
Go tell her.
Yeah. Make sure. Yeah, just stand up there and just when she's in it, just tell her that's where she needs me. When she's ready. Hey, move those bottles too. I know I've definitely said that, but sometimes you got to remind people. This food is so good. Oh my God, I love your hair.
This is my friend Almeida.
Nice to meet you. I dig your style. I dig anybody that has the confidence to rock bright orange hair. It looks fantastic on you. Well, it's okay because I know hairstylists that don't have that much confidence either. When I know what I'm talking about. Yes, we are.
One box. These studies are actually infused with Delta 8. So Delta 8 is they're gonna give you a buzz. he said no, they give you more than a buzz. You should grab one now before they make the announcement that there's something in them.
Okay. It's getting ready.
Good.
So these are from Twice Baked Goods, owned by a woman by the name Petra Traversa. She go by Chef Pepper. I know her. She's out of Kansas City. She actually makes these infused edibles, but they're made with Delta 8 THC, which is actually a legal THC substance here in the whole country. She actually patented these nugs. They look like nugs if you look at them closely, but they're actually like a Rice Krispie treat variant, and they're really, really good. Like I sometimes catch myself eating 7 of them. I just can't stop because but these are medicated. So don't do like me and eat 5 and pass out later. But they are fantastic. These are good. She makes some of the best edibles I've ever had. Yeah, uninfused, they was fired. So they're gonna be up here, you guys, available for enjoy. No problem. Extra stuff is off the chain.
You said, look, no one's gonna move.
I'm gonna move for you.
Oh, yeah. No, it's okay. I just want the whole experience to go. Okay, I think we picked up some more people. It's fine. Yeah.
Which one is it? Both of them? Yeah, different kinds. I didn't do it. I made some edibles. I don't have nothing.
Hey, April. Nice to meet you.
I know that
He just said that much.
you don't have to write anything down. Oh, you just. That's the hard job. You want the marijuana later. I'll wait.
Exactly what I like. After I was 5 years old, like I really everything and like so I started
Everybody is like, let me grab one.
All right, well.
I need to go eat a snack and get
I know.
Maybe if I go up here, people will start talking.
But no, I was so happy yesterday with that.
My boyfriend just asked me. Right, I'm mad. You think it's something just randomly talking, he didn't get what I'm doing the first time. Yeah, well, that's what the kids about the kids. Right, that's kind of like, you're so, gosh, why are you texting me? Like,
She apologizing?
It's okay. Okay, so I am going to be doing just a quick history of cannabis in America and hemp and its association with minorities, from kind of its introduction to the country to today. So, cannabis, like most amazing things, did not originate in America. Cannabis really, we start seeing its use in Central and Western Asia. And it was really known for its medical properties. Initially, that's what it was naturally used for from the time that it was discovered, to like its heightened psychosis properties, which are kind of the relaxed and mental state that it brings, which is why a lot of people use it today. And it was initially also really tied to like religion and kind of spirituality. You saw the use of the word ganja coming from the Hindu culture, and it really being associated with the god Shiva, and them using it as medication and for really, again, that heightened spiritual sense. And in Asia, they actually started the use of indica and sativa too, really kind of classifying the drug and kind of specifying what each strain was and what really figuring out the properties for it. And then we saw it even kind of move, as you see on the map. It starts to move western, and you see it in places like Egypt, where they used it for stuff like glaucoma, things that we're still using it for today. But America's focus was mainly on hemp. So when hemp and the cannabis plant was really introduced in America, they did know that there were some medical uses for it. And a lot of times people were using CBD, so they were using it more for ointments and gels and things like that, topicals and oils. We see here like cannabis compounds, 1 tablet after each meal is what's recommended on there. And so we also saw a lot of hemp use in America. In 1619, the Virginia Assembly passed a legislation that required every farmer to grow hemp. So basically they were like, hemp has a lot of uses, almost like things you see with like wheat and corn today. They were really using it as a crop in America. And domestic production was flourishing until after the Civil War. After the Civil War, we see a kind of a leaning away from that. The different materials that were kind of being produced more in the United States were being used, but we did still continue to see it for its medical use. And that's one of the things that we see from inception up until now, is that it's always had kind of that medical sense. People realized that there was more to the plant and a whole lot of different uses to it that could be helpful. But so eventually, as we see, the attitudes change, because cannabis originally was not illegal. Why would it be? Why would somebody have said that a plant that was growing would be illegal? But the confusion kind of starts to come in the 1900s. In the early 1900s, there was a lot of confusion between cannabis and something called loco weeds. It was growing in kind of the southern regions of the country. And this is also the time when we really start to see cannabis start to become weaponized, especially amongst minority cultures. The government started to say that there was this loco weed and that a lot of the Mexican American farmers were using it. And as they kind of moved into the country, and we also saw a time in which there was a lot of concern about jobs in America in general, with the Great Depression, with different wars, and there was a lot of this beginning of ideas of people kind of coming in and taking jobs and using up resources, and they kind of diverted that into the Mexican American community, saying that people were smoking this loco weed and that it was giving them superhuman powers, and that we should really be concerned about the use of cannabis. And that's also where we get the word marijuana. Marijuana was originally came from the Mexican American communities, and that was the name that they used for cannabis, was marijuana. And so you start to see this kind of vilifying of cannabis and the use of this word to kind of tie together the negative connotations that they had put on Mexicans and than the use of this marijuana drug. And when you think about it, it's kind of divisive because cannabis was being used medically. So people, their natural associations were negative at the time until somebody kind of introduced it in that way. And the government didn't just stop with Mexicans. They targeted a lot of different minority communities and kind of used cannabis as their background to target these communities. You'd start to see Reefer Madness. I know probably almost everybody in the room has heard about that term. So they started making posters and campaigns and movies in which they depict people doing all types of crazy things because they were using marijuana. The marijuana menace. One of the big things that they really pushed against were down in some of the southern areas, Louisiana, New Orleans. There was a lot of emergence of the jazz community, of a lot of African American or immigrants of color from Caribbean communities. And they used this as the way we use it today, socially. They used it as medication. They used it for a number of different things. And they tried to tie this idea that whites would be mixing in with all different types of races if they smoked this weed and hung out in seedy places. And, it was literally by, kind of pushed by the head of the FBI at the time. Harry Anslinger was a leader of prohibition. And once they started pushing these agendas and pushing this kind of propaganda against marijuana, that helped him move from prohibition of alcohol to really pushing the prohibition of cannabis. And the way they started was small. They started with taxation. So in 1937, they passed the Marijuana Taxation Act, and it required that you needed a special tax stamp. So if you were going to grow marijuana or cannabis now, you specifically needed to have a special license per se, very similar to the licenses and situations that we have today. And it really was used to target a lot of minorities because they said if you don't pay this tax on cannabis, then you can't use it, you can't sell it, and now you're a criminal for doing the things that they were naturally doing as a part of the communities, in a lot of these minority communities in ways that they were using to make a living. So we really start to see kind of the pushback. And after the 1930s, once they said, okay, well, hey, we want to limit how many people are using it. We want to start to tax this. It really still wasn't illegal. However, during the time that they actually had that taxation laws, minorities were immediately targeted because, of course, minorities were using it in a different way than a lot of people. So if you say, hey, what you're doing recreationally with friends, if you don't pay taxes on it, of course, those groups are going to be targeted immediately. So you start to see fines initially. Initially, it was just fines for taxation. If you weren't paying your taxes, they'd want you to pay a fine. In the 1940s, however, people started to kind of find, there was a LaGuardia research study that showed that a lot of the things that people were saying about cannabis, that it was making people crazy or that was giving people superhuman strength or leading to other drugs, they found that that just wasn't true. And despite that research, we still saw the pass of the 1952 Bogs Act. And the Bogs Act is when cannabis was finally really made to have made into a real drug conviction. And so that's when we start to see large amounts of minorities being arrested, being incarcerated, and it was mandatory. So if you're caught with marijuana and they're saying that it is a drug, then you're going to receive some type of jail time. And we saw with the initial passing of the tax laws that Mexican Americans were 9 times more likely to already be taxed for cannabis and be kind of have legal ramifications. African Americans were 3 or 4 times more likely. So now we already know these people are being caught for taxation. Now we're adding incarceration to that. So that is when we start to see, the war on drugs really began. And when we look at the war on drugs, half the war on drugs is really on marijuana possession. So really focus on what is probably the least harmful of all drugs, if we even want to call it that, because really we know that it's medicine. And from the 50s into the 60s, you see the war on drugs kind of increase. You see the resurgence in the 60s and 70s of that real push, kind of associated even with race and minorities, as we saw the age of kind of hippies and flower power and liberation and the mixing of people again. Then the government comes and they kind of passed the 1970s Controlled Substance Act by President Nixon. And it actually repealed the Marijuana Tax Act and instead made cannabis a Schedule I drug, right up there with heroin, cocaine, all of your real hard drugs. Again, kind of reinforcing that stigma that they have placed on it and kind of even elevating it now because we're associating something that we know that came in as peace, love, medication, spirituality, and kind of tying that again to something negative and using it to continue to target minorities. When you get into the 1990s and 2000, even more recently, we see that some of the advancements for the use of hemp were growing. You start to see more and more research in the areas of hemp. However, we're still a lot of minority targeted policing, minority targeted legislation. Between the 1990s and 2002, the drug arrests increased 41%. And the total number of marijuana arrests increased by 113%. So, I mean, that's really big. And as we know from a lot of different studies that African Americans and minorities are using cannabis at the same rate as whites. However, blacks are still 4 times more likely to be arrested than a white person for cannabis possession nationwide. So that basically means that we know everyone's smoking the same, but clearly when you walk outside, your chances of being arrested for your use are higher as a minority. And I think it's also important just to talk about the fact that that still happens in states like Missouri, where cannabis is legal. That's still happening in states like Colorado, Illinois, where cannabis is legal. We're still seeing that. In 2019, the World Health Organization suggested a change to legislation surrounding cannabis, saying that it shouldn't be treated as a controlled substance the way that it has been in the past. And yet, we see the arrest rates for blacks and whites still are a staggering difference as recently as 2018. And so even looking at these figures, legislation hasn't eradicated the indefensible rates at which blacks and Latinx people are arrested for marijuana offenses. In fact, a lot of states have even a higher percentage of black and Latinx people having their lives impacted by marijuana arrests than other states. For example, again, going back to Illinois, if you look at this figure, the darker red states are where there's even more an increase in the likelihood of being arrested. And Illinois is on there right next door, our neighbor. And a lot of people are still being arrested for possession, for riding around, even with the full legalization of the drug. 2 years after decriminalization in DC, we saw a black person is still 11 times more likely to be arrested than a white person for the use of marijuana in that state. And again, that continues to be seen across the country. You also have to consider that African Americans are also a lot more likely to receive the maximum sentencing for their crime statistically. So even if you're someone who's a consumer and you're picked up as someone who is white, then you may receive, fines, community service. Whereas if you're picked up as someone who's African American, you're much more likely to be facing jail time that disrupts your family, that may disrupt your chances of being successful in a whole lot of other lights. So really, it's just crazy how cannabis has really been used over time to kind of support these already negative kind of connotations and situations for African Americans that we've seen in the past. So looking at Missouri, Missouri actually is not as bad as a lot of people would think. It ranks 39th in the nation for racial disparities. So a lot of times people kind of are arrested at the same rate kind of in Missouri, but it depends. It depends on your area. It depends on where you are, and still that is discouraging as a person of color, that you may face a lot more ramifications in certain areas of the state than someone who may have been white with the same exact charge. And here, Black people are 2.6 times more likely to be arrested for possession than whites are. And so that's why it's also important to kind of know your rights, to be active and know what associations are around, like MCIA, like Normal, places that you can reach out where they can connect you with the correct legal resources even, because a lot of times people may not have access to even lawyers who have the resources to really know the laws and know what options are available to patients or those who are users. So that's definitely important. It's just the access in general. So what are our next steps knowing this? Our next steps are being in places like this, places where we have kind of an integration of people of all races, where we're kind of reducing the stigma. Of course, we're always pressing for legalization, which is something that we've heard talked about this in this room. It's important to learn from the past histories and make sure that when we're building these recreational initiatives and these recreational bills, that we're building in protections for patients, that we're building in things that address the racial disparities that we've seen over time, so that we have a more equal playing field, that we just address kind of balancing out things and making real impactful legislature and programs that kind of bridge the gap in a way. Another thing is really the kind of education of police officers. Cannabis Care Team works with a lot of the different municipalities and really making sure that they understand really the laws, the rules, and that they know that there is somebody who is providing that oversight, and that there are people looking out to make sure that people of color and the individuals overall have that kind of secure backing if they are prosecuted or if you do run into issues with the system. So yeah, that's really my history on the war on drugs. If you have any questions, you can feel free to ask me at any time. Also, as I said earlier, Jason, you have a question, Jason?
In your research, have you seen, my hope is that it's more beneficial for somebody like April.
She said that.
She looks like she's older. We know that people races consume at the same level, right? So if we have more police contact, does it serve us in the community to be patient, to be registered with the state in their medical program?
Yeah, I definitely think that the importance of the card is number one. And again, like I said, just knowing your rights. A lot of times people run into situations just because they don't know their rights. They don't know that if they had a card, they would not be subject to this prosecution. And we've definitely seen instances across the state where people have said they've had run-ins with the police, and maybe that is, again, why in Missouri a lot of the numbers are lower than some of the other states, where they've had run-ins with the police, and these police have been educated, and they now know once they pull out their card, even if they weren't targeting you, if you know you've been pulled over for a smell, but you have your card, then that kind of, nullifies that situation. So there is always the importance of maintaining the legality. But again, why just decriminalization and legalization in general is just so important, so that we do, we don't have to worry about jumping through these loopholes and have to worry about those things. And again, education as well, educating people that if you do have your card, where can you get your card? Where do you go for legal services if you have been pulled over? And Normal does have a page that offers on the Normal page, the state page, there is a list of available legal services cannabis. So if you need an attorney who does have a lot of background in cannabis, you can go there and look, and it'll pull up a list for every state. So that's important as well. Oh, yeah, question?
Yeah, I just want to know if you do consume a car, could you still buy like firearms, or how does that?
The firearms question is.
Can you repeat the questions that are asked so that we can hear?
Yeah, so he asked about firearm protections. Can you purchase a gun if you are a medical patient? Yes, you can purchase a gun. You would purchase it privately, like if you go somewhere like to a lot of maybe even like the gun shows offer, you meet people who someone has purchased that gun and then you can purchase it. The problem is when you're filling out the actual form, the federal form, there's a box that you check about drug use. And if you are technically a patient, then that would automatically have that. Missouri has recently passed some protections though for people who do have their guns, so that if you are a patient and you do have a gun and you haven't actually checked the box or done anything federally, that there are now protections for you, so that if you're caught with marijuana and your firearm, you're not getting the same full federal level prosecutions that you would face normally with a firearm and a controlled substance. So
I think Missouri is the only state that has that. Too.
Yeah, and I think that was big just because of, yeah.
It's in legislation in a lot of different states.
Yeah.
And the idea is, we are, as a patient, you're not, I believe the form says illegal or illicit drugs.
Yeah.
Criminal use of drugs. If you're a registered patient, they're not asking you about your pharmaceutical consumption. So the reality is, we try to, on the applicant and legislative side, treat it like medicine. So they don't necessarily have the right to question your medicinal value. If that answers further. So it's a gray area working towards legality.
I was gonna say, we're a right security state, so we don't need to have a CCW.
Yeah.
Not CCW, just the firearm person.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right, so we're a right security state, you can purchase a gun at any time, so we used to need a CCW in order to purchase. Now, like, those different type of cats are no longer there. So, like she was saying, you can do private sales, you can go to gun shows, and it has, as he was saying, understanding that you're not illegally using drugs. So, when you answer that question, you are lawfully honest about that. And if you have a clinic where you get your certification from, those doctors should be willing to help you if you are a type of legal, patient. So, if you don't have a clinic, whoever Academy, definitely
Look her up. Yeah, if you need to talk to somebody about the medicine side, Marnay is the one you want to talk to. Two things about that. One that's important is that there have been no, and anybody can correct me if it's happened in the last 10 days, but there have been no federal cases where someone has been challenged because they were possessing and they had also had a firearm. That has not been challenged if they were possessing with a CCW, right? If they were registered. So the other piece of that is, so it has not actually happened in all 50 states. Could it potentially happen? And could someone try to be, an example made? Maybe, but things don't look like they're moving that direction. The second part is that you have to put, like they're saying, is you have to check that box saying that you are using an illicit illegal substance. You are manually the one checking that box and saying that. So, just leaving it that little bit for interpretation.
I get it.
So as black people, we need to be aware of what self-determination looks and sounds like. And we've suffered highly at the hands of self-determination in that system.
Yeah, so that's.
we have great legislation in Missouri that allows us a lot of great areas to fight these things.
Hi, so I just want to say.
Just regarding that, you guys, just as like a little side note that I always like to add, if you get pulled over or you encounter a police officer, it is your absolute right to shut up. And you should. Where are you going is not a question. You don't have to answer where you're going, what you're doing. You just have to give them your driver's license. That's all you have to do if you get pulled over. Really don't say anything. And if you are detained or
Otherwise, then your attorney would have told you the same thing, and he would be really happy that I gave you this advice today.
Thank you, Kara.
Like I said, you have legal agents there, you have a lot of your exactly, a lot of state like that. They're all in Texas. They know what
Any other questions? Okay, thanks so much for your time, guys.
Okay, that was Abrama Keys. She is the executive director of the St. Louis, the Greater St. Louis chapter of Normal, and she also runs a company called We Can, where she puts businesses together with other individuals and she connects communities. So definitely check her out. She's on Facebook. I'm not sure who the next speaker is, but we're just going to sit here. I'm going to do my thing while we wait for the next speaker. Right now, Brennan is speaking.
Because immediately I wanted to flex on it. I was just like, all right,
well,
what exactly is going on here? But I was kind of on it, I was hurting myself. And I just asked a couple questions.
Just remember that we're in Missouri right now, so everything that we discuss is Missouri law, not federal law. If you want to know more about the laws in your state, you can check out Normal, NORML. And there's one in your state, there's a chapter in your state, I promise you that.
And if there's not one, you can start one.
Yes, you can start one. There's one in your state, but if there's not one in your town,
there's one in your town,
you can definitely start one.
Yes.
We need people to be involved. So involve yourself.
Yes.
Sorry about the camera angle here. I think who's next? That's sad. That's true. So you can see what's going on here. I believe Monet might be next. So. Every time somebody comes in here, they're like, "Are you guys giving away free marijuana?" Because our bag is so loud.
Just free smells. Free smells.
Free smells.
Free smells.
So loud.
We're not.
Let me see his face.
And I'm so nose blind sometimes.
Are we judging you? Yes, we are.
Minorities can do in the cannabis industry just in this room. And I love that you guys are having lots of conversations and connecting. After he talks about that, Marnay has actually got a great presentation on resume building. And there in your folder, there are there's a list of questions. If you go to a cannabis industry interview, there's some potential questions on there and kind of how to respond to those. I'm gonna let Jason get started. Are those Delta 8 goodies kicking in yet? Anybody? I don't know.
I don't think we have. All right, sweet. All right. So real quick, I just wanted to run down some of the baseline opportunities that the cannabis industry affords us as employees and or employers. A lot of what I learned was in the dispensary at first, engaging as a patient. So I moved into that world and realized quickly that there was just this endless potentiality for what I could do with the plant and how I can engage my community, my peers, doctors, education, the whole nine. So it really started in '09, and I looked at what the opportunities are in the dispensary. And you could be a simple behind the counter technician. They're referred to across the country: bud tenders, bartenders, patient technicians, so many different variations. But really that lead is you are the connection to the patient's need in the plant medicine forum. So it's a very, for me, it was a very rewarding experience because I was a patient first, to be able to engage one-on-one with somebody and help them solve a problem in their life, which was huge for me. I've got people who never want to deal with patients, and they are great at inventory control in the dispensary. They're great at compliance in the dispensary. There are so many different variants of opportunity. And then that travels into the other license holders in your state, whether they be manufacturers or they be growers, right? But even still in the dispensary model, what I'm starting to see a lot more in the last, say, 2 years is this community outreach and engagement portion that the dispensaries are taking on to be more connected to the environments that they're building stores in. So you've got that model in the dispensaries. You move into a grow or a manufacturing, you've basically got the same introduction. You've got a manufacturing worker, whether you're an assistant to a grower, all the way up to master growers. And I want to make sure people know that because you haven't had 10 years legal growing experience doesn't mean that you can't translate in your resume that you have growing experience. Okay. As long as you can translate with proper verbiage, I'm able to grow this plant. I've grown this plant for this amount of time. These are my experiences, successes, and failures. It translates fairly well. We just don't want to come at it like I've had this black market grow in my basement for, you want to really perfect, and Marnay will run that through, there's a lot of ways you can present this in a way that we have the skill set. We want to now convey it to the license holders that you deserve, you want us in your environment. Same for, accounting. We talked about this earlier, the simple skill sets or the complex skill sets that you may have in marketing or accounting, or, those are things that from a person of color perspective, the industry needs more normalization of marketing and not, only having images of people of color consuming blunts in a hip hop forum or really normalize the consumption of plant medicine more than it just being this culturally appropriated cool thing.
That's interesting.
And I don't think you can get that unless you get that from, say, a black marketing firm. You get that from somebody who really relates to what it should look like and feel for them. So marketing, we started the first the black-owned security company existed. We moved we were the first round license holders in Pennsylvania. We approached these gentlemen about being cannabis specific in their expansion, and they're now one of the largest, if not the largest, security company in PA, and moving into other states. And they're a black-owned business from the very beginning. So to me, again, it's prioritizing where you can, get in where you can fit in. And the idea that the state required us to have security on site, these security companies existed, melding them into moving into securing cannabis was a natural progression to me. The same when I look at some of the other faces in this room. We've got people who specialize in logistics and delivery, right? There is a black-owned business in the state that was running medical equipment and logistics and delivery, and it made perfect sense for him to move right into the contracted cannabis delivery system. So he now leads the forefront at logistics and delivery in the state, and it's a black-owned business, and the state wants to now use him as the example on how to do this properly. So I remind everybody that really when we talk about opportunity, it's limitless in what we could offer.
Okay.
Gentleman like Eric behind you understands that it may be in creating an advocacy group or an organization that pulls together resources for the patient. Or, I mean, again, I think what I've learned over the years is we don't know what we don't know until we're standing there and realizing what isn't filling the gap and how we get there. So I'll take any questions, but like I said, there are really some amazing examples of the sponsors and the participants in this room on all levels of businesses that are plant touching, not plant touching, that are all thriving businesses in the cannabis industry. So there's a lot of potential opportunity, and I want to make sure we are at the front of that as people who've been affected the greatest by it.
Got something I want to add to your marketing piece.
Yeah.
So my business is structured. I said that I have a St. Louis Cannabis Club, which is it is a resource network connecting people with experiences and events and products. And I also have the lounge. What my business is at its core is an experiential marketing platform. So I'm creating experiences and spaces where brands have opportunities to have authentic experiences with potential consumers, and where consumers have opportunities to have a safe and authentic space to check out what brands and products are coming onto the market, or growers, or any other of the ancillary services that come into it, right? So one of the pieces that I looked at is with the COLA, with the St. Louis Cannabis Club, was the importance of lifestyle branding, and that for me, I was building my brand in what was authentic to the people and to the culture that I related to, so that I could create an identity for something in the language and in a tone and a dialect that they understood. And so whatever your market or whatever your interest is, a lot of people say, well, I want to get into, I really love making cannabis edibles. So I want to learn more about CBD infused foods. But if you just put a brand on the market with no story, with no mission or vision attached to it, then you'll just get caught in the loss of all these other brands that are trying to make their way onto the shelf. But whatever your position is and whatever your entity is, the importance is in your story and in your mission and your vision. Because if you can identify those pieces, no matter whether you're coming from transportation, whether you're coming from marketing or cultivation or food, whatever it is, people are going to identify with how they relate to you. And that's a piece that a lot of major brands miss because they can't hold 45 and push beer in the cannabis industry because there are too many pre-existing sub-tribes and subcultures that exist. And if you know your tribe, if you know your people, or who you're trying to communicate with, then whatever your product and your brand is, you can just authentically connect with them that way.
Well said. Please.
I'm big. I want to know more about the real estate aspect of it. It's other things I want to learn, so stick with something I really want to.
Yeah, no, it's a great question.
And that's something that I'm really passionate about, real estate, because I know that that's money coming in and out.
Constantly.
And also, I want to make where it was a safe haven for people to come in and, to live there, not only affordable living, and they be able to grow their cannabis at the same time. And also want to have something to do with the storage unit. As you say, you might not want to live in my complex, but I have storage unit come in, or say, for instance, somebody coming in to travel.
That's a hugely good idea.
You see what I'm saying?
So, like, I recently had to rent a house and I cannot find anybody that would let me grow.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so you see what I'm saying?
So two things. Brilliant idea. What I have learned in the industry is better to be safely guarded with the amount of information you would share.
I got you.
About your intellectual property. She's right. You automatically see these gaps that aren't being filled because the industry can barely fill the need it has right now for patients across the country, and it's really doing a poor job at that. So that's where advocates like ourselves come in and go, okay, well, how can we do better, right? And real estate is a huge, if you're already in the real estate market, then all you're really looking to do now is see what complies with industrialized cannabis dispensation or industrialized cannabis manufacturing, and knowing your laws and compliance in your state. But that until it becomes a federally supported industry, you're going to have real estate and then compliance in that state. And that's going to be state to state. It's going to be different every state.
Correct.
But it's a brilliant idea for modeling. Some states don't allow any home grow. So it eliminates tons of those states when it comes to the growing conversation, right?
So how would I go about trying to get a regular real estate license, just don't pay for it?
You would talk to a mentor who would then take you down the right path.
Okay.
No, you're good. But I
appreciate that.
you're on the right
I
path.
came here to learn.
Thank you. We appreciate you coming out.
Thank y'all.
Any minority-owned security companies in the cannabis nation here?
In Missouri?
Yes.
Yes.
Somebody want to, yeah, okay.
G5 security, there's a lot of different people that integrated from clubs and stuff. So I'm literally the consultant for the minority community. So every single person that had a small business in the last 2 years, I've told them to integrate cannabis services in their company. So from edible makers to real estate agents, I work with compliance and legislation across the board to give them a turnkey business plan as well as help with the finances. Yes, I'll make sure everyone has those resources. But you definitely asked great questions. I'm really excited, as everyone stated. Real estate is the prime. It is the most lucrative. It is the most focal point in the industry right now. You have 4 different,
Come on.
Sorry about that. So good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Marnay Madison, if those of you that came in weren't here earlier. So I am basically the cannabis business consultant. Gotcha. I'm not going to do a presentation today.
Oh, no?
No. This is just about the resume part. Yeah, so we're going to talk about resume building because obviously there are companies here that are offering jobs today as well as accepting resumes. So it's very important that we understand how to craft a resume, but also how to nail an interview in the cannabis industry. So we're first going to explain the difference between a medicinal market and the adult-based recreational market. So in front of you, you guys have a resume. You all are Jack Herrera Jr. today, so congratulations. You are really famous people. Sorry to those of you who do not identify with Jack, but he is you for today. So one thing that both Jason, I believe, Brennan, so many other people touched on, this is a new industry for everyone once a state becomes legal in either medical or recreational. So some of you all have the opportunities to be some of the first in your states or, in your cities to roll out an ancillary cannabis company. One thing specifically here in Missouri that I stress to a lot of, students and clients and even those that are looking for future employment opportunities. Your verbiage and your vernacular, your, choice of words are very important when you are communicating and engaging with the community and the patients inside of this medicinal dispensary. I know some people may have had the great opportunity to travel out west, after its forefront. So we are accustomed to a very lax culture inside of cannabis. Well, then you travel towards the Midwest and you get to Missouri, where we are considered uppity, bougie people, but we definitely are very stern inside of the professionalism. So understand that once you are going into these interviews, it is very important to understand the vocabulary that you need to relate to some of the products as well as yourself. You are not a bud tender. I don't know, I know what buds are, but inside of a medical dispensary, it is important to understand that this is medicine from every part of this plant, okay? So most patients that are walking into this medicinal dispensary are probably here for the first time. So you are the first person that they are trusting beyond that recommending physician that they just got this certification through. So it is important to know that you have to understand some of the properties that are inside this plant. I stress to everyone to take a course on some type of cannabis science or intro into the endocannabinoid system, which some of you may see as an acronym ECS, okay? So it is very important that you are able to distinguish some of those products in relation to conditions or illnesses that a patient may be going through once they walk into that store. So I also learned for myself actually last week, not sure if some of you guys follow me on Facebook, but I was doing a bit of trivia. So I asked, was it cannabis or cannabis? Because that is definitely something that I hear quite often in the industry. I hope you all would say that it is cannabis, B-I-S. But I also followed up with the next question of, is it strand, as in a strand of hair, or is it strain, as in a strain of a species or strand of a virus? Okay, so everyone's strand, S-T-R-A-I-N. Yeah, I spelled that right. It's been a minute, no. But I actually, I received comments from, a lot of people that I respect in the industry that are growers. And I learned a new word, and it's cultivar. Okay, so I am interchanging that inside of my verbiage. So I am teaching you guys to do the same. So we are going to use cultivar, which is CULTIVAR. Okay, so it's definitely going to put that professional acumen behind you once you go in as this master grower, because everyone's a master grower. There's so many ways that you can keep this plant alive that I think it is absolutely crazy to coin yourself that, okay? So in my eyes, everyone, once you've done it once, to me, you're a master grower. Good job. So I definitely want you all to keep that in mind once you're going into these opportunities and these interviews. So once again, we are not bud tenders. We are patient specialists. We are patient advocates. Make sure that you stress that to, your consumer, your patient, and your customers. That is something that, even inside of helping them change their outlook on the environment is important. And I'm sure the companies and brands would respect, the rapport that you have with the patient or the customer. It is definitely important, once again, as I stated, having that free, there are free courses online that you can get inside of certifications, as well as in-house. We host the clinician courses, which is created as a nationally accredited course by Dr. Regina Nelson. She is currently in Oklahoma, but I do believe the courses and most of her work was started out in Oregon. So this is a course that has literally touched every legal state at some point. We house them groups of 5 so that we're able to prorate the cost. So if that is something that you're interested in getting more education. So inside of this particular course, it touches bases on more so of that caregiver home healthcare integration. So we're going to talk more about ways to become your own cannapreneur. But I definitely want to start obviously giving you tips on how to come into an interview if that is, the pathway that you're wanting to take in cannabis. I think for growers, it is, very, it would be a very awesome opportunity to, get that skill, the hands-on basis, get that entry-level experience with a cultivation company. So definitely, I want to focus on the resume that you have in front of you. With Jack Herrera, he is wanting to be a bud tender, trimmer, or grower, okay? So in that first paragraph, just as any standard resume, we're going to talk about how awesome we are, the skills that we possess. If we do not have experience already in the industry, we're going to explain how we are very quick learners, we are team players, and we would be a great asset to the company based off of all the experience and qualifications we have. So think about it as a bud tender or trimmer. Some of you could have been helping, your mom or grandma in their garden since you can remember. That is definitely, you're a landscape artist. You are someone who is able to manicure and grow and help the plants grow as well. You may not have this, marijuana experience, but this is something that they're able to, provide for you if they are interested in bringing in entry-level employees. So once again, as Jason stated, you may not have that skill set or experience, but they may see something in you that they're able to teach. You never want to miss an opportunity to be the first one to do something inside of, the company. So never think that, oh, well, I just had that one job for 3 months. It could have been very relatable, inside of what they are looking for, because everyone is building their brand up. So inside of areas of interest, basically, you're going to state exactly the type of roles or positions that you're looking for in the company. It could range anywhere from being on-site security for the company, as well as being retail specialist. You can be a patient intake specialist. If they have a clinic on site, that may be something to where, I was good as a clerical assistant or as a secretary. I know how to file papers accurately, and I'm very organized. That's definitely something that company could be looking for. Remember, some of these people are stoners. So a lot of business acumen is something that they may lack. So you may think that this company has this structured, organized person, but you may be the missing piece to their puzzle. So definitely keep in mind that no job is too small. And then we're just going to take down the further line, we're going to discuss cannabis education. So some of you may not have that right now, but once again, we have several programs throughout the city. So as of right now, I know St. Louis University has a cannabis science program. We have a couple of University is in Oakland, California. Literally started by some of the first in California to really combat with prohibition. They're really the forefathers of the cannabis industry and community. I am a graduate of Amsterdam, so I definitely think that those courses, if you're looking into getting into growing, Amsterdam University is one of the most reputable sources in the country. Ed Rosenthal is one of the most respected growers inside of the industry internationally. Some of the best colas you've ever seen have come from this man. And I am actually very grateful. I was featured in Leafly magazine for Black History Month, just based off of, thank you. And literally I've only been growing for 2 years. So yes, these are definitely opportunities that are tangible. So don't think that, those positions are too